How about you stop running away from what you really want? Seriously though, how about you stop running away from what you really want? This is a different kind of video I'm making today, and I think I'm gonna be making a lot of these because I've wanted to use this channel for something, and I feel like this is it, just like a personal digital diary of sorts as I go on this arc that I've set for myself. What I mean by stop running away from what you really want, what I've noticed lately is people are like, we're putting so much attention into things we actually don't want. And it's just because it's comfortable that we continuously keep doing this. Think about it. The kind of person you are watching me, I'm assuming you're like of a similar age to me. When's the last time you said you love your mom, for instance? Or your dad? When's the last time you sat and genuinely dedicated 30 minutes of your life, 40 minutes of your life to have a wholesome conversation with them via phone or in real life? When's the last time you took a walk and just, with no like social media or whatever on your phone, just like a walk in nature and like played with a leaf outside and, just were present for like an hour or so? What I've noticed is that we have like a huge mental health crisis. It's no, it's not news that we have a problem with mental health, like globally pretty much. And everyone's pretty fucked up. And it seems like everyone's fucked up, but everyone's lives on the surface is kind of going all right. Like, people go to school, people have friends, people have jobs. Granted, that's getting taken away by AI as well. But like, we seem to be so much more fucked up than we actually should be given our external circumstances. And you got to wonder why that is. And that's because we are dedicating so much time to shit that genuinely doesn't benefit us, and we know it. And we are literally put in like a trance, like a mental fucking just absorption sort of thing going on with social media and all these devices. And let me just put it straight, bro. What I've realized this so many times, but what I've realized is two things. First of all, our attention is our greatest currency, let's say. And the root source of why we feel unhappy is where we direct our attention. Fuck. Flies and shit. My fault, bro. This is like a sketchy spot I'm at, but it's really beautiful. Hold on, let me show you. Hope you can see. I was using my front camera to record. But yeah, our our attention is our greatest currency, right? And where we direct our attention is exactly what we get in life. It's very metaphysical, but I won't be going into the metaphysics here. I just want to be very blunt to people who genuinely might need this. Your life is a direct result of what you pay attention to. In fact, everything in life, everything that ever exists, only exists because consciousness has shined its light of awareness onto it. Do it for long enough in this world and it becomes your reality, right? Again, I'm not going to get into manifestation or any of that metaphysical jazz. To keep it very much grounded in reality, our attention and where we direct it is the cause of our unhappiness. The number one kind of thief of our attention, the number one thing that steals our attention from us, is social media. And you've probably heard this so many times, social media and stuff. You might even be sick of it, but it's 100% true, bro. It's not the thing, right? Which is why some people have social media and they're good, right? But it is the number one thing that steals attention. The goal is attention. If you turn into a monk and you're able to control your attention so hard that you can have social media on your phone and it doesn't distract you, you're golden, you're good. But 9 times out of 10, we get distracted by it. And it's not even our fault. It's been designed so meticulously to grab our attentions because our attention to them is money. They need money. They've gotten really good at making money, these elite corporations and elite people that rule the world and blah, blah, blah. And if our attention translates to money, Jesus Christ, you better believe they're going to like do their best to harvest our attention and, get us fucked up, even if it's at the cost of our very own mental health. So what I'm saying is, recently I've been doing a thing where I'm just I'm dopamine detoxing, and chances are you've maybe heard of this, where you just kind of everything that spikes dopamine, and I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about here, stuff like eating junk food, porn, and like fucking video games and social media, excessive use of that cheap stuff that kind of spikes your dopamine without you actually having to earn it. I've been taking that away, cutting that out of my life lately, and I've noticed a huge improvement. And I feel like at this point I'm just another guy talking about this stuff, and you've probably heard so many people say this, but it's like, if you're here now, what is 5 minutes in, I'm assuming you're here to stay for this video and to actually see it through to the end. And so if you're one of those people, I want to tell you, like, this is the sauce. The fact that social media basically is the bane of our existence. This is, like, if there's anything I've ever said or anything I ever will say and I want you to take seriously, it's this and one more thing that I'll probably cover in like another video. But this is very important, bro. Your attention, where you put your attention to on a consistent basis, is what your reality becomes, basically. And like, why is social media bad? Well, think about what social media provides to us. We're constantly, this is something I realized like in real time just a few days and maybe weeks ago, but it's been a realization that has been slowly unfolding in my own reality. And it's like, I finally made a decision to get it off for some time. I'm not claiming to be on some monk shit where I'll forever never be on social media, but for this specific time, specifically the coming 3-4 months, I want to be off of it, and I have been for a while because I have certain goals that I want to hit by then. But point is, I noticed looking at social media that it seems to be this hall of mirrors that just reflects the worst aspects of humanity and the collective consciousness. It's like when you go there, all you see is superficiality reflected on superficiality. People being fake, not even because they're bad people, but because they want to fit into the societal structure that has been deemed as the norm. But the societal structure in itself is just very destructive and super fucked up because it rewards people on being superficial and sharing their highlights, but not sharing their dark moments. And it kills the humanity in people. Social media just looks like a huge museum for everyone to go, look at this, my life is so great. But then the thing is, everyone who's watching social media, everyone who's scrolling through reels, they know how their life goes. They know their life is not great. In fact, most of the time it's ass. And so what does that leave you feeling like, bro? It leaves you feeling like ass too. You feel like buns, your butt cheeks, bro. But then the problem is, even though social media in general, overall, actually makes you feel bad, you don't even know this. It's probably become such a normal thing that you don't even register the fact that seeing that person with a fast car, seeing this girl that's prettier than you, seeing these people living a better life, having more friends than you, and like drinking and having fun and stuff, you probably don't even register anymore the fact that that shit makes you feel weird some sort of way, like it makes you feel bad. You're addicted to the dopamine because it hijacks our human nervous system, constantly scrolling, wondering if what you'll see next is entertaining or shock content or like deep philosophical stuff or like goon material or whatever, you know? It's like this weird thing that has hooked us, bro, and we can't get away from it, even though every time we put our heads inside the machine, we slowly die inside. And the thing is, like, the fact that it's an addiction means by its very nature, it pulls you away from everything else that actually matters. We recently had, in my country, Tanzania, right? We recently had a power blackout because there was a bunch of protests. Yeah. And I was about to say something, but they might like fucking kill me for that. So we recently had shit, I wonder if I could like make y'all get a cooler view of what's going on. Fuck it. We recently had like these protests, right, in our country. And in that period, there was a power blackout, internet blackout as well, for like internet blackout specifically for maybe 10 days or something. I don't remember. It could have been like 7 days or 10 days. Was it less? Don't know. But it was a good chunk of time, all right? It was enough time for us collectively as Gen Z and older and younger people as well to just realize a lot of things. You know, during this time, you know, like the first few days, you know, everyone was going through withdrawals from social media and stuff. But once that kind of faded, which it fades surprisingly quickly for anyone who's thinking of quitting or taking some time off, once that disappeared, all of a sudden everyone was connecting. Like, you know, we had no internet, but like me and my friends from all over the country, different cities and stuff, you know, we'd all like find a way to get onto group calls on like the normal calls, not on WhatsApp calls or anything. So like it's weird, you can't even see who you're talking to. All you know is someone has added this other person, and we like started building a community from scratch during this internet blackout time. You know, we were talking to long lost friends, long lost family members. We were staying on group calls for like hours on end, bro. It felt like a community. You know how in like those apocalyptic movies or animes, like a group of people, like a couple boys, a couple girls get together, they like fucking steal a car, bro, and then they camp out somewhere and they survive, and it's like campfire stories every night, and like it's just surviving and shit. together as a community. It felt like that via like phone calls and stuff. So the sense of community was restored automatically, and it was so exhilarating and actually super exciting. Just as exciting, in my opinion, as scrolling reels, and even more rewarding talking to people every day. It just felt great because we had no internet, we had no other choice, right? At the same time, for some people, I'm certain for myself, this is where the realization really started to kick back in for me again. Got a fucking notification and it cut my recording short. But this is where the realization started to hit for me the second time, that holy shit, you know, like, fuck, bro. This is social media and the internet has been the bane of humanity, right? Like, for me specifically, I started to get inspired again, naturally, you know, because I spent most of my days watching anime, and when I got bored of anime, which is way better than social media in my opinion, it's actually great, I then started to like talk to people, and then eventually I got tired of talking to people, kind of, you know, every now and then. And in those moments where I'm just staring at the wall, staring at the ceiling, laying in my bed, I'd get divine inspiration, bro. Like the same sort of inspiration I used to get back in secondary school, because I was a boarding student, so we had no phones, no internet, none of that stuff. And I would just write novels and draw cool pictures every few pages, novels that everyone in class loved, and they'd like queue up just to read it every couple preps, and they'd even steal it from me and then return it back just so they could read it. Like, I was very productive back in the day without even having to be asked, and I loved it and I enjoyed it. And this was starting to come back to me during this period of the internet blackout. I was getting super inspired, and you know, like, it's super mystical as fuck, maybe because I'm just mystically oriented, but it literally felt like it would just hit me from the sky, bro. And I've noticed ever since then that all of my greatest ideas, even in the past, before this time, years ago, would hit me in these moments where I'm just away from the internet for prolonged periods of times. Like, there was this one time I was locking in and I was doing self-improvement monk mode for the first time in like 2022, and I was meditating a lot. I was just off social media. I was working out. I had a beautiful routine and stuff. It was great. It was wholesome time with nature, time with people, my family, my whatever, bro. And I'd just be taking a shit, and the greatest ideas would hit me from nowhere. I wouldn't even be thinking about it. Ideas that I'm still planning on working on today, that I've like set up foundations for today, that I'll probably execute 5-10 years from now. And I feel like because I aim to keep this video short, I can't really iterate or illustrate just how important and how deep all this goes, and how like fundamental to fucking existence and just improvement, your own improvement as a person, all this is. But trust me, bro, you need to get your attention back. You need to get your attention back and then refocus it to things that actually matter. And you don't even have to work. A lot of people just try to focus on the good stuff, try to do the good habits, try to work on your inspiration, a business or whatever, to like succeed or to find satisfaction. A business won't give you satisfaction, bro. Inner peace will give you satisfaction. And inner peace comes from having freedom. Social media does not give you freedom. It literally steals it from you. In fact, it steals the one thing that's the most important for freedom, and that's your awareness and your attention. Chances are you know you're addicted to this shit, bro. Like, try for one day to like not touch it. Try one day to not open Instagram, bro. Watch how many times you mindlessly, without even noticing it, scroll to go to the app and like even open it, and then you're like, oh shit. That's an addiction, bro. What else do you move with like that? Nothing, bro. What else do you like mindlessly just enter like that? Nothing else. You're addicted, bro. And it's like, I feel like people don't understand just how much time it's taking from them, you know? And so, yeah, man, once you get off of social media for some time and just the internet in general, or you limit it drastically, especially initially, things start to flow naturally. We've been disconnected from something that's very fundamental to like our existence and our experience as humans, like in general. And I don't know what to call it, but it seems to be, I believe this reality is a dream. I'll get into that like on some other video. Trust me, you're gonna get like an abundance of that. But when you're dreaming, let's assume you create the entire dream. Paradoxically, you do. At the same time, it's there and you're just tuning into it. But like, let's assume you're creating the entire dream, right? Mainstream understanding of things. You're not a dream character. Sometimes you're a girl in that shit, even though you're a guy in real life. Sometimes you're an ant. Sometimes you have dreams as so many different things. So clearly the dream character isn't you. It's like an extension of you, you know, a focus point of you. But the real you is out there creating the entire thing. It's God relative to that dream. When you're not lucid, you're just acting as the dream character with its story, with its past. You don't even know you're dreaming. The moment you become lucid, all of a sudden, it's like you're now the thing that's creating the whole dream, and you know it. You're just experiencing the dream through a smaller aspect of yourself, which is this little character in there, the dream character, right? All of a sudden, the things you wanted to do while you were awake, like fucking have orgies with angels and shit, or travel to some crazy dimension, you can now do it. You can at least try, right? And so now you're in tune to the intentions of the god, you, the person sleeping, creating the dream. And obviously those intentions relative to you matter more than the intentions of the dream character. What keeps us not lucid in a dream, and I'm cooking, trust me, it's the distractions. The fact that we are for some reason convinced that world is real, and so we don't question it, right? What happens if you were to somehow take away the distractions? If you were to train your mind in a way that it no longer falls for the illusions of the dream, like, oh, I'm dreaming, but you've trained your mind, because I do this a lot. I'm really deep into lucid dreaming and stuff. You suddenly, when you're dreaming, you just know, like, oh, this is a dream. Of course, your mind can tell, right? What happens if you train your mind to get rid of the distractions in this world, like social media? Then all of a sudden, you are that much closer to being in tune with the thing that's dreaming us all into existence right now. Whether you want to call that guy God, higher self, the universe, the all, the higher mind, the whatever, you now become more in tune. You become ever more lucid. You won't become so lucid that you're fucking bending reality. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know, ask the monks. But I have my own predispositions, but yeah, like you gain more lucidity. And I feel like this is what we used to have before social media took over us, but it's what we experienced as kids. It's also what we experienced probably in situations like school, in situations like the blackout. I was happier during the blackout, the internet blackout, than I was when I was scrolling social media. We all know this. We all know, like, when we go long periods of time without social media, when you go on a camping trip with the boys, with the girls, when you hang out with the friends, when you catch a couple drinks, when you go on a hike, when you do all these things away from the social media, you're actually happier. Social media just feels better because it's so attractive. The pretty colors, the high definition, big booty women on fucking reels. You're just like scrolling, right? But like every time you scroll, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see something that makes you envious, that makes you compare by contrast your life to theirs. And there's no comparison because they're pretending to be all that and you're nothing. And then it's like ass, bro. It's stealing your joy, right? But when you get rid of that, you're left with more of who you are. And it's like this divine inspiration, the intentions of the thing dreaming us right now start to tune into you more. You clear the resistance ever so slightly, or slightly ever so more. I don't know, bro. Fuck it. Look, I yap a lot, but like yapping in front of a camera, especially when I'm looking at myself like this without a script, is more difficult. But I've gotten into a flow. Like, I'm speaking easier now than I was when I first started recording today. But yeah, man. So ultimately, yeah, bro. Ultimately, yeah. Get off of social media, bro. Or do your very best to reduce it. In fact, reduce all distractions. All of them. Just find out the things that are distracting you, reduce them, and then sit and watch what happens, bro. Just watch. Like, a lot of people say they struggle with passion and figuring out what they're meant to do in this life. You don't. Nobody does, because what you're meant to do will find you. It's what you're meant to do. Does a football struggle to be a football? Nah, it's just a football, bro. It never tries to be a frying pan unless it had an awareness that got deceived that it should be a frying pan because it sees other frying pans being fried and it thinks that that's the way to be. That's what's happened to us. As a human, we shouldn't, look, if we lived in a world, right, where we were deceived that humans were supposed to fly, right, we'd all be trying to fly and we would probably fail, right? But in this world, we know humans are supposed to do what humans do. So we just do what we do, right? We don't even ponder what do I do to be human? We don't. We just human. We're humans. We do what humans do. We walk, we take shits and stuff, we eat and all that stuff, bro. And so it's like our purpose and passion and where we should focus most of our attentions to, our unique predispositions, right? The only reason we're confused about that is because in that exact area of the human experience is where we are deceived and distracted the most. We are told that we should do this and this and that. because of social media and all these other influences. It used to be TV back in the day, but it's gotten way worse with social media. But if those things are taken away from you, it's only a matter of time before it hits you like the fucking biggest train full of instincts ever. It's just intuitively downloads into your mind, and all of a sudden you get it. You know what you're supposed to do. Yeah, man. So that's what I've been on. And yeah, bro, I'll keep making videos like these on my walks in the evening. I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah. Peace.